hospital, cancer hospital, anyone can go to. And Dr. Kozłowski, Polish name. If you would look at her name, it's like, how do you pronounce that? Kozłowski. Doesn't even look that way. Dr. Kozłowski said that, and I shared this with you on a Sunday, as she was looking at her diagnosis, and she said that, and the way you speak, that's how you're going to speak the rest of your life. You're going to whisper the rest of your life. And I shared with this church in the back that I'm not receiving that. I believe in creative miracles. I believe in creative healing in the back of my heart. We prayed for it. We had that Friday. Awesome. That was awesome. That was cool. I love that stuff. That's me. That's country chords all the way. That's kind of stuff. We prayed for her. We're believing. 2 weeks ago, she finally got the PET scan that she needed 5 months ago. Because of insurance problems and insurance things, she finally got it, and we all prayed that she will be able to go through that PET scan. That PET scan required for her to lie flat on her back, which she hasn't done for months. She's always slept this way. And we prayed that she will just be able to go through that. If she sits up because of her spasm, our co-payment, and again, I'm just being vulnerable, our co-payment was $1,600. And if she would get up, done, lose your money, everything's gone. But by the grace of God, she was able to go through it. Bad news that I haven't shared with you, and probably some of the leaders, old church may get to hear it. Bad news is that gallium PET scan, since it's so precise, it shows more details. And like I said, this is what she should have had 5 months ago. It showed that she had more cancer in her body. And on top of that, I have not had a conversation with Ren for months. My conversation with her, as Susanna experienced as she went to go help her out to the doctor, and she tries to talk, she whispers to me. And I'm like, I've already told you that the highs, as you get older, the highs on your hearing, they tend to go. And I'm right on her face, man, and she's whispering. I don't know what you're saying. Many times I leave frustrated, and maybe you can kind of get a little bit of picture of why Pastor said tomorrow is Bible study. And I said, George, dude, mind you guys, 2 doctors have said she's not going to speak. 2 doctors, 2 oncologists have said you're going to whisper the rest of your life. Pastor Richard saw, Sister Nancy saw Ren 2 Sundays ago. I'm sure they've not seen Ren. Last time they saw Ren was walking, healthy, little healthy. Right now, she'll give her a run for her money. I'm not saying her. And that's my reality. I come home to that. How many believe in prayer?
Yes.
And we're going to continue to pray?
Yeah.
We're going to continue to pray.
Yes.
We have a guest speaker as well tonight. Guys, they said she's not going to speak. She's not going to speak. She's going to whisper. You can put your iPhones up or what have you, shoot it over there, probably get a greater picture. And this one's not bad either, but you can always, that's always better. I don't know if you want to get a crick in your neck, but she is not supposed to speak.
How about now?
Yes.
Not yet? How about now? Two doctors said I will probably never get my voice back. And that they would have to do reconstructive surgery on my vocal cords, and they can't guarantee it. But all of you have been praying so much. All my prayer warriors, our church, everybody. And this is one of God's creative miracles. It's a creative miracle. And you guys can hear me now. So I just wanted to say hi. And I wanted to encourage you all that God is still a God of miracles, that He answers our prayers. And He rescued me out of a burning car, and He's restoring my voice. I can't even imagine what is next. But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to share some things with you guys. And I asked my husband if it was okay if I did that. So I didn't really put like a message together. These are just things that I wanted to share with you guys. And of course, share this. I mean, it just started happening a few days ago. And you just don't know what that means to my children, and especially to Pastor George, because he really couldn't hear my whisper at all. And he was just so excited and blessed to just start hearing me actually form words. And even I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Anyway, one of the things I wanted to share with you guys was that my husband and I were called to San Pedro for a reason, for a purpose. And we're here to continue to build and establish the great things that were already done in the years that the pastors, like Vin and Pastor Tom, have labored and built already. And we're just there to add on to it. And we're just so honored. But it's my husband and I, and we're a team. And even though you don't see me a lot right now, we are a team. And we're the pastors. And let us pastor the church, but we still need you guys. You guys are there to hold up the arms of Moses. You're our Aarons. And you're there as a team. We should be there united. And one of the things I wanted to share was just unity, that we continue to be united, church. It Ecclesiastes 4:9 and 10 says, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. And if either of them falls down, one can help the other up. And verse 12 says, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves, and a cord of 3 strands cannot be broken. And what that tells me is we need to build each other up, and we need to have each other's back. When something happens to one person, the other person puts his back up against him and defends him. And then the third one comes in and says, hey guys, need any help? Because 3 strands can't be broken. And that's what we need to do, is we need to look at each other and defend each other and build each other up, not tear each other down. Nehemiah 2:18 says, I told them that my God had taken care of me. Our God is taking care of us. He has our back. And he also told them what the king had said to me. And he said, let's start rebuilding, they said. The people said, and they eagerly began to work. Maybe you guys find yourself, you're in ministry or you're volunteering, and you're feeling like a little stale, or you're at it, and maybe you're not putting your whole heart into it. This has been a tough year for all of us, and maybe in your spirit you've allowed yourself to just step back a little bit and say, you know what, I've been faithful all these years, and God understands. I just want to take a little internal break. I mean, I'm still serving him, I'm still loving him, but you're no longer fighting and giving your all 100%. And somebody else is giving 100%, but they need help because somebody else is only giving 20%. But I just want to encourage you guys to get back into building, get back into your ministry, refresh your spirit, your mind. A lot of us have hit a lot of obstacles, our whole church, not just me. People have lost jobs, or their own family members have been going through physical ailments, and all these different things have been attacking our church. But now's the time to pick up your weapons, because God is fighting for you. God is on your side. So jump back into the fight. Jump back into the building. And I want to encourage you to work as a team and get to know these new people. Not just the ones that you grew up with in San Pedro and have known them since elementary school or high school. You need to branch out and meet new people. Take couples out if you're a couple, or other young people. Take them out and take them under your wing. Or maybe you've been just coming into church and you don't even really have the ministry. Ask God how you can be useful. Ask God, what gifts do I have that can be used in the house of God? Because I'm tired of just sitting here now and listening to message after message. I know I can offer things. So ask God, how can I be used, God? What ministry can I be used in? Create a new ministry. Talk to my husband about it. In 1 Peter, I just wanted to say, this is one of my favorite verses. And it taught me a lot as a young pastor's wife back in the 1990s. Because people were cruel when you're a pastor's wife and you're only 24 years old and you're 22 years. But one of my favorite verses is 1 Peter 4:8. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. And I learned that everybody is not perfect, and you have to learn to love them. So loving one another leads me to something else. One of the main reasons people leave churches is because they get offended. And that's probably the number one thing people leave, because we get offended. And sometimes the person who gets offended, the person who offended them doesn't even know what happened sometimes. They leave the church and then months later you hear, this is the reason why they left. And then you're like, what? But that's really not what I meant. But I just want to say that every day we get offended. We get offended at the grocery store. We get offended by the way the teacher sometimes treats our kids. We get offended by how people look at our kids. We get offended by a shoulder shrug or the way somebody rolls their eyes when they could just be like, there is a glint in my eye and it has nothing to do with you. I just want to say, if you feel like you're always offended, that's a problem. But I also want to say that we can't control what people do or say to us. We have no control of that. We have no control of somebody just blurting something inconsiderate or something rude. We have no control. We cannot change people. Only God can change them. The only thing we can control is ourselves. We have full responsibility of our actions, of our reactions, and our responses. If you get offended, you need to step back and you need to remember who your Savior is. And you need to remember what flags you wear. You wear a Christian flag. And you need to say, okay, Lord, let me think about that, Lord. I felt this way. Let me pray about it. And then just move on and forgive. Love one another. Love covers a multitude of sins. If you spend time to know a person, you know what I love to do? Is I love to know where somebody's life has been. Find out where they've been. Find out where they grew up. Find out about their families, what they've been through. When you know somebody's life, you begin to understand why they are the way they are sometimes. You know that some people have been hurt so deeply, and you begin to understand them more. You begin to have more compassion. But that won't happen unless you get to know people. Unless you branch out and say, hey, let's go get some coffee. Tell me about your life. That won't happen unless you do that, unless you take that step. So I just wanted to encourage you guys to build this city, stay united, encourage and build up one another. Don't tear each other down. Lift each other up. If you don't have anything nice to say, zip it and say, thank you, brother. Thank you, sister. And just love them, hug them, forgive all offenses. Try not to be an offender. And I'm just so blessed to see what the rest of this year has. And you guys don't give up, man. God is fighting for us. He is fighting our battles. And I'm just so blessed, and grateful to be a part of this church, to pastor this church with my husband. And guys, pray for my husband, love him, support him. He's going through so much, you just don't know. But he's fighting the good fight of faith. And he was believing 100% for my healing. And I know you guys are too. I love you. And I'll see you soon.
It is so weird for me to be able to hear her voice. Like, I'm shocked this way and I'm shocked this way. It's like, man, how many times are you going to get shocked? How many ways are you going to get shocked? I just, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable to you guys. And I know a lot of us, we all have different upbringings. Maybe that's not your style. I'm not going to force anybody to change. Only God can change you. You allow God to change you. But I believe many of us, we need to graduate a little bit into some type of vulnerability. my children and I last night. That's the first time I've heard rants. I mean, that's just strange. That's just like weird that I can hear her voice. And like, she seems okay, huh? She's like, no, everything's fine. If you see her post, it's like, she's got her everything on. And like, man, that's wrong with Sister Red. But I shared with you guys my reality. And we're going to continue to believe for her miracle.
Yes.
And we're going to continue to believe God's will. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that has helped out, continue to help out. Thanks of her, praise for her. But this is about us tonight, being a little bit vulnerable. Husbands, if you need to be a little more vulnerable to your wife be a little more vulnerable, or vice versa, or allowing each other, you need to graduate into being able to speak, talk things out, talk things through. On one of these sessions on a Wednesday night, I will explain to you that we need to graduate from being critical to being helpful. Graduation. So I want you to bow your heads and close your eyes.